and welcome to The Flex with Aaliyah. Today, I'm talking about the obsession with potential. And what does that even mean? Well, to me as an athlete, when I think of potential, it's having the capacity to become or develop into something in the future. What I am projecting I can achieve or become. And then obsession is the idea that continually preoccupies someone's mind. So they're continually thinking about their potential, what they are capable of. And that's what I'm talking about today, but from my perspective and my athletic performance. I'm going to kick things off with a quote. And it's the obsession with running is really an obsession with the potential for more and more life. And I love this. Just eliminate the running part, and the obsession with whatever it is just an obsession with wanting more. And I feel that really encapsulates my views of performance as an athlete and even as a coach, what I would hope my athletes want to achieve. I'm trying to make them better. I'm trying to make me better. And I love that. You just replace running with whatever it is that you're focused on. So for me, the obsession with performance is really an obsession with the potential for more, wanting to achieve more, get the best and most out of me. And for me, that's athletics. And right now, it's actually obstacle course racing. So I'm going to rewind all the way back to graduate school. And I was a collegiate athlete. So when I went to grad school, I was able to still compete as an alumni, which was very exciting. I wanted to participate. I had been an athlete for so many years. I wanted to fill my time with other athletics besides what I was doing for my education. So I started training for road races, like marathons, and all I wanted to do was cross it off my list, say I could do it. Because in and of itself, completing a marathon is pretty challenging. There's not that many people in the world who actually have completed it. When you participate, you feel like there are so many participants, but that percentage is actually pretty low. The problem was it didn't tickle my fancy. I didn't enjoy it that much. I would do it because I liked the idea of challenge, but I had no desire to work and improve my marathon time. I'd done a couple, and then I was like, I'm going to sign up for this Spartan race. There's this thing that's called a trifecta, where you do a sprint distance, a super distance, and a beast distance. And super back then, way back when in the OG days of Spartan, was 3 to 5 miles. And the super was 8 to 10. And the beast was a half marathon. And I committed to that, meaning all I did was sign up. I was like, I'm doing this. Crossing off my list, why not? I didn't know what I was doing at the time. But I was pretty active and pretty athletic. So I was like, yeah, I got this. I could do it. And so I did my first sprint. And I'm pretty sure it was Palmerton. And then I did Mount Vernon in New Jersey for the super and Killington for my beast. Pretty much back-to-back months, just crossing off because you had to get it done in the same year. And I wasn't going to be able to do it later in the year because of grad school. So why not? And like I said, I didn't know what I was doing, but I just continued working out like I was before because I was a collegiate rower and I also did softball during college. I would just go do my strength training, do my conditioning. I still did the alumni races for crew, which is rowing. And then I'd play on things in the gym. I would just shimmy around the squat racks with my fingers to work on some grip stuff. And I kind of enjoyed the challenges of obstacle course racing. And obstacle course racing is a sport in which a competitor travels on foot, where they have to overcome various physical challenges in the form of obstacles. And these events can vary in length. So you might see nowadays a lot of ninja competitions. That actually is a category of obstacle course racing, of OCR. So ninja. And then that's typically 50 to 100 meters with a whole bunch of obstacles close together and minimal running. And then you have ones that are sometimes on a track, and they could be 400 meters to a 5K distance. And of course, why stop there? You have cross-country distances that could be a 5K to 10 miles to even 50K. And those longer endurance races, like 100 miles, they have some of those now. And there's obstacles every so often. But it's a pretty expansive sport. And I enjoyed it. So I had just finished the Killington Beast. I was like, I'm going to start training for this. Why not? Shortly after that, my friend from grad school was like, hey, a CrossFit gym just opened up. You want to come with me to their open house? I didn't really know what that was, and I liked anything that was fitness related. So I was like, sure, why not? Go try it out. I immediately fell in love with it, and OCR just faded away. Didn't even think about it because I had completed my trifecta, it was done, and I went headfirst into CrossFit. And I will say CrossFit is what got me through grad school. It was challenging, it was stressful. I didn't like some of my professors, but being able to have a place to go to work on my performance and get some stress out mentally was satisfying and helped me. Like I said, I jumped headfirst into CrossFit, and I did that for many years. I didn't even look back on obstacle course racing as a possibility or even to do. Some years later, my friends who I rode with in college were like, hey, let's do something together. So we decided to do a Tough Mudder. And it wasn't as big as it was now. Now I know it by name. Then I was like, oh, sure, this race. None of us knew, and we participated. And it took a lot longer than my marathon because we did it together. And so there were 10 of us. And we had some varying physical ability levels. And we decided to stay together. So my one friend, her and I would run up and then run back to the group. And then we'd continue on. That was the next OCR experience I had, but still, it was just for shits and giggles with my friends. And at that point, I decided, I was like, I am never doing one of these in this group format again. I didn't like it because it wasn't challenging and it was very slow paced. And I really like the fast paced, which is why CrossFit was so alluring. And so I'd still stayed in with CrossFit. I was working out. I was training. I finished grad school. I moved back home. Found a CrossFit gym where I started working at. And then I got a job. Well, the CrossFit was my job, but then I got a job at a company. And while still doing CrossFit, competitive CrossFit, because like I said, that is what I was into. I was really focused on that path. One of the people that I worked with who was a gym member who I trained one summer was like, hey, do you want to do this race? I have an extra ticket. I was like, sure, why not? Can I do it competitively? She's like, absolutely. And it ended up being a Rugged Maniac. And like I said, I was only training CrossFit. Had never done a Rugged Maniac before, wasn't really practicing or training for obstacle course racing. A lot of grip, nothing like that. Just what was in CrossFit with pull-ups and toes to bar, holding the barbell, stuff like that was grip training to me. And I ended up winning this race. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. I didn't think anything of it. And then the next year, same thing happened again. So that was 2017. Then the next year, 2018, she had another extra ticket. I was like, hey, you want to do it? I was like, sure, I'll do the competitive. And I started reading about it and doing research on it. And I saw that there was an obstacle course racing world championship. I was like, holy shit. And if you place in the top 3, you qualified to go to the North America Championship. So last year, they actually had one, but they didn't tell me that. So I won first place. And nowhere did the race organization or anything tell me that there was this further opportunity. Because I will jump at the opportunity to challenge myself and push myself further, especially in competition. There was a championship, and I missed out on it. I was so bummed. And then when I found that out, I was like, "Ooh, let's go hard at this race." And I ended up coming in second by a couple seconds, which did qualify me for the North America Championship. Like I said, I had done this research leading into this race. And this race was a qualifier for the North America Championship and World Championships. And it was the week before North America Championships. And I said, screw it. I'm making this happen and I'm going. I didn't know how, but I was making it happen. And I ended up driving to Vermont because that's where it was. It was in Stratton. The North America Championship was in Stratton. And it was a 3-day event. There was a 3K on Friday, a 15K on Saturday, and a team event on Sunday. And there is a small piece that I left out of this story, mainly just because I forgot. Earlier that summer, I was training for a CrossFit competition. And some idiot, asshat, if you will, dropped a dumbbell on my foot, a 50-pound dumbbell, and broke my foot the week of my competition. So it was safe to say I was not doing that competition. I was so bummed. I was so mad. I was raging so hard. You can imagine. And I switched gears immediately because I had a bodybuilding background. And I was like, screw this. I'm ready to compete. I need to compete. I am going to train for a bodybuilding competition. And I only had so many weeks to do it. I turned that wheel right around and started focusing on bodybuilding for the next 8 weeks. I couldn't do a lot of stuff standing, so I did everything either seated, well, most of it was seated because I couldn't put pressure on it, but I could do a lot of upper body. I could even do lower body with machines, so leg extension, leg curl, and I competed in that competition. And that's relevant to the story, just to give you an idea of probably how crazy I am, but the idea of obsession with potential. So I was training for that CrossFit competition. Someone broke my foot. I shifted gears, started training for a bodybuilding competition. And if you know anything about bodybuilding, you're not doing a whole lot of cardio. And if you are, to shed weight towards the end, it's a lot of Stairmaster. It's not like you're running or doing high interval training. Two weeks or a week after was that Rugged Maniac that my buddy had the extra ticket to. And I was like, screw it. I haven't been running. Why not? Because that's me in a nutshell. Ran that race. Not a lot of running training because I had the broken foot. I had to be off of it. Still got second. It was like, damn, maybe if I put some effort into this, I would be good. And because I got second, it qualified me for that race, that North America Championship. And I was doing CrossFit competitively, so I reached out to my coach at the time and was like, hey, I'm going to do this. He's like, okay. I was like, what should I do? There's a 3K, there's a 15K. He's like, you haven't been running, let's just do the 3K. I was like, okay. And if you know me, that probably only lasted so long. So I was sold. I only registered for the 3K. And then probably the day of or a couple days later where I had to go up on Thursday. So the Rugged Maniac was Saturday. Then athlete check-in was Thursday, race Friday, Saturday. So probably on Thursday, I was like, should I do the 15K? And I asked the coach and he was like, yeah, just the 3K. So in Aaliyah fashion, I said, fuck it. And I signed up for the 15K anyway. So I did the 5K. I did the 3K. And I enjoyed the obstacles. And I got hung up on this one. And I actually was in contention for podium status. But because I bobbled on this obstacle, it was my first big one. I didn't really know anything. But I eventually got through, and I believe I finished 5th or 6th. And I was really mad about that, especially that I got stuck. That bothers me. And I was like, I'm fully committed to this 15K now. If I'm not signed up, I'm signing up now. And sure, was I a little worried about my foot because I haven't done any running and my endurance probably was shit? But that didn't stop me. I ended up running most of that race by myself, and I was in 2nd place. And I had probably the last 400 meters to go. And I started doing this obstacle that had a little foot ledge board. And I put my foot up, and my calf cramped up so hard, I had to hop off. And I was like, damn it. And then I saw the person behind me starting to approach the obstacles like, oh man, you got to hold this together and just get through it. And I sucked up that cramp. I either turned off my pain sensors or just endured it while I could feel it. And I made it through that obstacle. She started just before me, and I finished it before her. And then we had the next obstacle. And I don't remember exactly if we finished at the same time, but it was pretty close. But I still had this cramp. So I couldn't really run, and I was trying. And now we have like the last 200 meters, and we have to go over these cars and then run to the finish line. And I am like trying as hard as I can to run, but I can't because my calf is seizing up. The person at the finish line, I'm not sure exactly who it was, started massaging my calf. Like, because that was all I could do was sit on the ground and be like, woo. And that was my first big experience with obstacle course racing and wanting so much more. Because I ended up placing 3rd in the 15K off a broken foot, not really training OCR, nor working on endurance whatsoever for a 15K. So then I went to my coach. I was like, hey, I did pretty good having no training for this whatsoever. Do you think we could shift programming for Worlds, which was in like a month, maybe 2 months? And it was in London, or outside of London, it was in the UK. He's like, yeah. And going to London was such a cool experience for OCRWC, which is the Obstacle Course Racing World Championship. So North America Championship was in Stratton, Vermont. And then Worlds was in the UK. Woo! I was prepared, but not prepared at the same time. I think I was signed up for the 3K, the 15K, and I got put in with a mishmash of people for the team. The 3K, I did fairly well in. I think I placed 12th, which is freaking phenomenal for not really doing much. I would probably say that's horrible for me. Like, I want to do so much better. 12th is not good enough. But in the grand scheme of things, when you take everything into account, that is pretty damn good. And then the 15K was a slap in the face, big eye opener. And I got stuck on their stairway to heaven. And that one sucked my soul to the core. And I felt pretty confident. So I went up, started doing it, and I fell. And I was like, what the heck? This can't be happening. Tried again, and I kept failing. And I couldn't get the top transition going from left to right. It was so far. I was so mad. And I sat there. Well, I didn't really sit because I kept trying for so long. And I was determined I was going to get that thing. Oh, it was the itch you couldn't scratch. It was my obsession in that race. I had to get it because if I could get through this, I could get through everything. And I felt confident in everything. And lo and behold, I eventually got it. My arms were torn up. I looked like a grape. They were purple and bruised, but I made it. I freaking did it. I was so overcome with emotion. I'm pretty sure I started to cry as I ran away because it took everything out of me to get over that. There was no way I was going to walk away from that not getting it. And then I actually did finish the 15K. I was the only U.S. woman to finish the 15K. And in the 3K, I was the only I don't know if I was the only one, but I was the first US woman to finish in the 3K. This one, I was the only one to finish. I will say, I did not make the time cap though. I think I was a couple minutes off, but to me, it still counted because of what I endured to get through that. And every bit was worth it. Every bit made me hungrier for the next years. And that's my start to OCR. I didn't really get into it till 2018 when it just fell into my lap, being like, hey, why not try this and actually put effort into it? That's my obsession with potential. I think that is something a lot of top athletes have. And if you're out there wanting to get better, your goal, you kind of need to obsess about whatever it is, whether it's work, but I'm a coach, so I'm going to focus on performance. That potential that I see in my clients, I'm trying to pull it out of them because I'm trying to pull it out of me. The only difference is I have the capability of making myself do that, wanting to improve so bad that I will work for it at whatever cost, whatever time I need to get up. Whether it's 3 a.m. because I need to do this long run before my 5:30 a.m. class because then I have to leave to catch a flight at 8:30. I will make it happen because I am hungry. I am hungry with the obsession for potential. And if you are stuck in your sport, whatever sport that is, you need to start to look at that. What is the potential that you are hungry for? What are you willing to do? And as you get older, that doesn't mean like age. I mean, like as you get older, your job changes, you have relationships, it makes things more complicated. But there are certain things that are important to you that you will not settle for. For me, it is my athletics or my fitness, my drive. I cannot sacrifice my drive or my hunger. And people who are close to me understand that, know that. Sometimes does it bother them? Absolutely. But they expect it from me because they accept that that's part of who I am. You need to look at you. And that's probably where you're going to make a shift in being able to overcome an obstacle. Not like a physical obstacle, but maybe you're in a drought, have a rough patch, or coming out of an injury, or dealing with a setback, whatever it is. If you have that obsession, you're going to want to strive to be better. You're going to look for that potential. And that is what I really love about that quote. The obsession with running is really an obsession with the potential for more and more life. I want to fill my basket with everything I have to offer, plain and simple. And some people are going to think that's crazy. That's fine. So go find your obsession in whatever field you want to see your potential. Thank you for tuning in to The Flex with Aaliyah. I'll catch you next time. Bye.